Have you ever been in a room that's so loud, so chaotic, so filled with noise that you can't hear your own thoughts? The music is blasting, people are shouting, and your head is pounding, and all you want is one moment of silence. Now, I want you to imagine that room is your mind, right now. The constant pinging of your phone, that's the music. The frantic scrolling, looking for a reply that never comes. That's the shouting. The agonizing over every word you sent, every emoji you used, the desperate hope that this time you'll get the response you're dying for. That is the pounding in your head. You are living in a state of emotional chaos, held hostage by a screen, by a person who has chosen silence, and you're begging for a crumb of their attention while you are starving yourself of your own peace. But what if I told you that the most powerful, transformative, and life-altering decision you will ever make is not sending another text? What if the key to unlocking your power, your worth, and your future is not in chasing, but in stoping? What if the moment you put that phone down, the moment you decide that the silence on their end will be met with a profound, powerful silence on yours, that is the moment everything changes. That is the moment you take back control of your life. Today, we are not talking about playing games. We are talking about ending the game. We are talking about what happens when you stop texting an avoidant. And what happens next will shock you and unleash the giant within you. The moment you stop initiating contact, you initiate one of the most critical psychological shifts of your life. You are breaking the addiction. And make no mistake, this is an addiction. It's a chemical cocktail of intermittent reinforcement, that desperate hope for a hit of dopamine when their name finally flashes on your screen. You've been trapped in a Skinner box of your own making, pressing the lever, the send button over and over, hoping for a pellet of validation. And you've been getting just enough to keep you starving, desperate, and hooked. But when you stop, the entire cycle collapses. The first thing you will notice is the silence, and it will be deafening. It will scream at you, your fingers will itch, your mind will race with 1,000 scenarios. What if they think I've moved on? What if they're finally ready and I'm not there? What if this is the moment I lose them forever? You must understand this. That noise is the sound of the addiction fighting for its life. It is the death rattle of a pattern that has been keeping you small. And as you sit in that discomfort, as you breathe through the anxiety without reaching for the phone, something miraculous begins to happen. The static starts to clear. The mental energy that was once entirely consumed by them, the energy you spent decoding their 2-word texts, stalking their social media for clues, crafting the perfect message that would finally make them see you, love you, choose you, that colossal amount of psychic real estate suddenly becomes vacant. And that energy, that focus, that immense power of your consciousness has to go somewhere. It flows back to you. It's like a company that has been pouring 99% of its resources into a failing toxic division that never produces a return. The CEO is exhausted, the employees are demoralized, and the entire operation is on the verge of bankruptcy. The moment you stop texting the avoidant, you are that CEO who finally makes the decision to shut down the toxic division. It's painful, there's a sense of loss, but suddenly all those resources, the money, the talent, the mental bandwidth are freed up. They can now be reinvested in the core business you. You start to think about your own day, your own goals, your own life, with a clarity you haven't had in months or even years. You remember a hobby you loved. You have a creative idea. You have the mental space to actually solve a problem at work instead of just worrying about your love life. This is not just about moving on. This is about the greatest repatriation of your own cognitive capital. You are taking back the keys to your own mind. The obsessive thoughts don't vanish overnight, but they lose their power. They become like a radio station playing in another room. You can hear it, but you no longer have to listen to it. You are no longer a prisoner in the chaotic room of your mind. You have just become the architect, and you are beginning to design a palace of peace. Your constant pursuit, as well-intentioned as it feels, has been enabling the very dynamic that is destroying you. You have been the stable, predictable, always available counterweight to their chaos and unavailability. You have been the one ensuring the relationship, whatever it is, never fully dies, but also never truly lives. You have been single-handedly keeping a corpse on life support. When you stop texting, you pull the plug. And in that moment, You force the entire dysfunctional system to confront itself. For the avoidant, your pursuit has been a convenient buffer against their own intimacy issues. They get to have a connection without the responsibility of maintaining it. They get to feel wanted without the vulnerability of wanting. They get the benefits of a relationship without the commitment. You have been their emotional safety net, allowing them to dance at the edge of the cliff without ever fearing the fall. The moment you remove that net, the ground beneath their feet disappears. The dynamic is no longer the pursuer and the avoidant. It becomes the person who has stepped back and the void, and that void is terrifying for them. For the first time, the consequences of their behavior become real. The silence is no longer a comfortable space for them to retreat into. It becomes a mirror reflecting their own absence. They are forced to ask the questions they've been avoiding. Where did they go? Are they done? Did I finally push them away for good? This is not about playing hard to get. This is about being hard to get because you have gotten yourself back. You are no longer participating in the game, which means they are suddenly playing alone. This creates a seismic shift in power. The power is no longer in their ability to withdraw. The power is now in your ability to be unavailable for dysfunctional behavior. You are communicating without a single word that you have standards, that your time, your energy, and your love are valuable commodities, and they are no longer available at a discount. You are forcing them to live in the reality of their own creation, a reality where you are not present. This is where true change is catalyzed. Either they are shaken enough by your absence to finally confront their own patterns and step up in a way they never have before, or they retreat forever, revealing their absolute inability to meet your needs. Either way, you win, because you are no longer wasting your life in the purgatory of maybe. You have demanded a definitive answer from the universe, and you will get one. You have broken the cycle, and in doing so, you have set both of you free, either to come together in a new, healthier dynamic or to walk separate paths toward the love you truly deserve. When you are in the throes of pursuing an avoidant, you are in a state of constant self-abandonment. With every text you send into the void, you are silently whispering to your soul, "Their attention is more important than my dignity." With every excuse you make for their behavior, you are telling yourself, "I am not worthy of basic courtesy and reciprocity." You are slowly, methodically erasing yourself to make space for a fantasy. You have contorted yourself into a pretzel, trying to fit into the small, confined space they are willing to offer. You've muted your needs, softened your voice, and made yourself small so as not to scare them away. But what happens when you stop? The pretzel begins to uncurl. You stand up, you take a full breath, and you look in the mirror and see a stranger, the person you were before the obsession began. The process of reclaiming your identity is like an archaeological dig. You are brushing away the dust of anxiety, the rubble of disappointment, to rediscover the bedrock of who you are. What did you love to do before them? What made you laugh? What were your passions, your dreams, your silly quirks? This is not about finding yourself, because you were never lost, you were buried. And with every day you don't text them, you are removing another shovelful of dirt. You start to make decisions based on why you want, not on what you think might lure them back. You go to that movie you know they'd hate. You listen to music that makes your soul sing, not playlists that remind you of them. You spend a Saturday doing exactly what pleases you, and the joy you feel isn't tinged with the sadness of them not being there. It's pure because it is entirely yours. This is how you rebuild your self-worth, not with affirmations in the mirror, but with actions that honor your soul. Your self-worth becomes the non-negotiable standard for how you allow yourself to be treated. It is no longer a fluctuating stock price based on their latest text. It becomes the solid gold foundation of your life. You realize that your value is intrinsic. It was there before them, it was there during the chaos, and it is there, shining even brighter now that you have chosen yourself. You are no longer a satellite orbiting their planet, waiting for a sign of life. You have become the sun in your own solar system, and you realize that you were the source of light and warmth all along. Your heart and your life are like a beautiful, prime piece of real estate. While you were obsessed with the avoidant, you had a no vacancy sign lit up for everyone else, but you were letting this one person camp in the driveway for free. They weren't investing, they weren't building a home with you, but they were taking up all the space. preventing anyone else from even pulling into the lot. The moment you stop texting them, you are finally evicting the squatter. You are taking down the no vacancy sign and putting up a new one that says open for a secure, reciprocal, and loving partnership. This is a fundamental law of the universe. Nature abhors a vacuum. When you create a void, something will always rush in to fill it. For so long, you have filled that void with anxiety, with chasing, with hope for a fantasy. Now you are creating an empty, clean, sacred space, and into that space will flow new opportunities, new people, and a new version of yourself. But you have to understand, this only works if the space is truly empty. If you're still mentally obsessing, still checking your phone, still emotionally tied to the outcome with the avoidant, that space is still occupied. It's like trying to pour fresh, clean water into a glass that's already full of muddy, stagnant water. You have to empty the glass completely. When you do, you become a magnet for a different energy. You begin to attract people who are consistent, people who text back, people who make plans and keep them, people who see your worth not as a challenge to be met, but as a gift to be cherished. At first, it might feel boring. Their consistency might not give you the same addictive roller coaster of highs and lows. That's because you're detoxing from drama. You're learning to appreciate the profound beauty of peace. You are making room for a love that builds you up rather than a love that tears you down to its level. This space also allows you to redefine what love means to you. It's no longer about the intensity of the chase or the thrill of the conquest. It becomes about partnership, safety, mutual respect, and a shared vision for the future. You stop being a beggar for crumbs and become a connoisseur waiting for a feast. And I promise you, when you truly make that shift, the feast will arrive. Right now, your story is being written by someone else's inability to love. Your plotline is the one who waited. Your character arc is flat, stuck on a loop of hope and despair. You are a supporting actor in the movie of their life, waiting for your cue. When you stop texting, you grab the pen, you fire the director. You take back control of the script. You decide that this chapter of pain and chasing is over, and you turn the page to a new one. The title of your story is no longer, Will They or Won't They? It becomes, How I Became the Hero of My Own Life. This is an act of profound authorship. You are no longer a victim of their avoidance. You are the protagonist who made a choice. The choice to value your own peace over potential partnership. The choice to walk away from a mystery you were never meant to solve. This shift from reactivity to proactivity is the essence of personal power. Instead of your day being dictated by whether or not they contacted you, you dictate your day based on your own goals and desires. You go to the gym because it makes you strong. You work on your career because it fulfills you. You see friends because connection fuels you. Your life is no longer a reaction to their silence. It is a proactive creation of your own joy. You rewrite your identity from the inside out. You are not the person who was left on read. You are the person who had the strength to close the book and write a new one. This narrative control is the ultimate freedom. It means that no one else gets to decide your worth, your happiness, or your future. You are the author, the editor, and the publisher. And the next chapter is always yours to write. This final point is the culmination of all the others. Stopping the chase is not merely a relationship strategy, it is a spiritual initiation. It is the fire in which your old self, the needy, anxious, approval-seeking self, is burned away to make space for a phoenix of self-possession and unshakable inner peace. This journey forces you to confront your deepest wounds. Why did you accept so little? What was the void you were trying to fill with their attention? The avoidant acted as a mirror, reflecting back at you the parts of yourself that you had not yet learned to love. When you stop looking at them, you have no choice but to turn that gaze inward. This is where the real work begins. It's a deep, often uncomfortable, but ultimately liberating process of healing your attachment wounds, your fear of abandonment, and your core belief about whether you are truly lovable. You learn to become your own source of security. You learn to validate yourself. You learn to sit with the terrifying feeling of being alone and discover that you are not just okay, you are whole, you are complete. This is a metamorphosis. The caterpillar, the creature that crawled and was dependent on leaves from others, must dissolve in the chrysalis of silence and solitude to become the butterfly, the creature that flies and sips nectar from any flower it chooses. The person you are on the other side of this journey is not the same person who started it. You are stronger, wiser, calmer, and more powerful. You have an emotional resilience that cannot be shaken by another person's hot and cold behavior. You have a spiritual depth that comes from having faced your own darkness and emerged into the light, led by your own hand. You realize that this was never about them. It was always about you. The avoidant was merely the catalyst for your own magnificent evolution. What we have walked through today is not a set of tricks or a 30-day plan to win someone back. This is a fundamental blueprint for taking back the one thing you have total control over in this life yourself. The moment you stop texting the avoidant is the moment you declare to the universe, and more importantly, to your own soul, that you are done participating in your own demise. You are done begging for a love that should be given freely and joyfully. You are done renting out space in your magnificent mind to someone who treats it like a cheap hotel. This decision is the first and most critical step on the path from anxiety to authority, from chasing to choosing, from being a victim of circumstance to being the architect of your destiny. The journey ahead will require immense courage. There will be days when the itch to reach out will feel overwhelming. There will be moments of doubt where your mind will try to trick you into believing that sending that one last text will change everything. In those moments, I need you to remember who you are becoming. You are not the person who reacts to every impulse. You are the person who chooses their actions based on self-respect. The temporary discomfort of withdrawal is nothing compared to the perpetual agony of the chase. Embrace the silence, for it is in that quiet that you will hear the most important voice you've been missing, your own. Understand that this process is alchemical. You are taking the lead of their rejection, their silence, their unavailability, and you are transmuting it in the furnace of your own will into the gold of self-worth. Every day you don't text them, you are adding another ounce to your treasury of personal power. You are proving to yourself, through action, that you are more valuable than the game you were playing. This is how you build an unshakable core that no future storm, romantic or otherwise, can ever break. And let's be unequivocally clear about the outcome. Whether this person ever comes back or not becomes irrelevant. That is the ultimate victory. When you reach the point where you genuinely do not care if they return because you have built a life so full and so rewarding on your own, you have won. If they do return, it will be to a version of you they have never met, a version who will not tolerate the old dynamics, a version who has standards and boundaries, a version who might just decide that they no longer qualify for the incredible person you have become. So, I am not asking you to just stop texting an avoidant. I am challenging you to start texting your own future. I am challenging you to send a message of unwavering self-respect to the world. I am challenging you to commit to your own metamorphosis. The chaos of that noisy room ends the second you decide to walk out. The door is not locked. The handle is on your side. Take a deep breath, reach out, turn it, and step into the brilliant, quiet, and powerful peace that has been waiting for you all along. Your new life begins the moment you choose to send your last text to the past and your first text to the future you are now ready to create. Thank you for having the courage to be here today, to read these words, and to even entertain the possibility that your life can be different. The fact that you are seeking answers means the part of you that knows your worth is still alive and fighting. Nurture that part. Feed it with action. I believe in you. Now, go out and take back your power. Goodbye and God bless.